Hey, it's John. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to break down how to share a testimonial appropriately on a webinar, a masterclass, a workshop. There's so much confusion over what to say, how much to say when it comes to reading off a testimonial. And you can really lose people and bore people if you get it wrong. And you can enhance your presentation, enhance your status as an expert when you get it right. And they're important to have in your presentations. Of course, if you have any legal concerns around using them, check with your legal department. I am not a lawyer. I don't play one on TV either. So please check if you have any concerns on that. But in this video, I want to break down how you can use testimonials more effectively in your presentations. And I'm going to actually do that on a slide presentation that I use and just give you a couple of examples here. So let's head on over there. So what I'm going to do is just leave this kind of in unpresent mode and show you a couple of examples of what I would recommend you do, and then talk about what you won't do. In fact, let me just talk about what you won't do first. Like, what you don't want to do is have a bunch of text on a slide and read that thing blindly for too long to your audience. You're going to kill the flow of your presentation. So we don't want to do that. And we also don't want to just break from the flow of your presentation and tell a random case study or a random testimonial. Okay, I see that a lot. Like, the testimonial doesn't line up with the point being made. And that's a key thing you'll want to take away from this. You want your testimonials to be short, direct, outcome focused, but also make sense around the context of what you're sharing. So if you're sharing a point about something, the testimonial or the case story, case study should be relevant to the thing you're talking about, not just randomly breaking away from the flow of your presentation to share a testimonial about how great you are, for example. It kind of comes across as disjointed, and it kills the momentum of your presentation. You want your testimonials not to be a long block of text, but a short, direct, outcome-focused language that adds context to the point being made. Okay, so let me jump over and show you some examples here. So this is an example of, I'm making my offer and I'm breaking down how my webinar creation process is basically like having a webinar in a box, where, building your presentation is as simple as using my scripts and tools to write your webinar and then adding the content to a slide deck that I've already made for you. And now here's where the testimonial comes in. Right behind that, I share a short testimonial of somebody who's gone through that program and had something good to say. So again, it's relevant to, hey, this is helps you put together a webinar more easily. So Felicia says, this easy to digest content took all the guesswork out of creating my webinar. Then I go to the next one. Regina, this simplified it and actually made it fun, right? Peggy here said, this saved me weeks, if not months, and took my anxiety putting together a webinar way down. And so you can see that I use these testimonials as they're short, they're sweet. You don't want to spend a lot of time on one slide talking about it. You want to keep them moving. I literally read them like that, blah, 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 blah. A quick, and they add to what I just talked about. They weren't just random, like, hey, John is great to work with, or hey, John made me some money. That's not what these were. These were relevant testimonials to the idea that you can get your webinar done faster, easier, and better using my method. Okay? So you want your testimonials to line up with what you're talking about. So let me give you another quick example here. Let's say I'm addressing the concern in this presentation, like, well, if I have a webinar, what if I can't get people to attend? And I talk about that you don't need a lot of people, and then I share a case example. In this case, Jessica was a subscriber of mine. She emailed me. She said, John, I ran a webinar. 10 people showed up, but I got 3 hot prospects from my webinar. Chris is a tax strategist who ran a webinar with just 10 attendees, but ended up with 3 sales, 2 on the webinar, 1 after. And so I'm using these testimonials or these case examples to highlight in a short, punchy fashion the point that I'm making, which is you don't need to have a ton of people on a webinar to get some sales and get some clients and get some results. And so I'm addressing an objection, but I'm using these case studies as a point. I'm enhancing the point. I'm not just cutting to a long-winded case study here, for example, that says, hey, John's great to work with. I worked with John and he made me this much money. Like, that's not appropriate for this place in the presentation, because I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about how you don't necessarily need a lot of attendees to have results with webinars, right? And so the point in this shorter video here, I get this question a lot. I audit a lot of webinars. I've audited literally hundreds of sales webinars in my decade plus career now. And I see it all the time. People misusing testimonials, case studies in a weird fashion because they're almost trying to just check a box, right? So many people tell us you need to have lots of testimonials in your sales presentations. And look, it's not a bad thing to have lots of social proof, and hey, you're not the first person. I've worked with a lot of people. There's value to having testimonials in your sales presentations, no doubt. But just try to use them in a way that adds to the conversation or the flow, not breaks away from it. Don't have these ridiculously long-winded, massive walls of text where you're literally just reading that to people. You will kill the momentum and bore people in your sales presentations. So, have your testimonials, have your case examples, your case studies, but make sure they are relevant to what you're speaking about. Keep them short and outcome focused and relevant, and your presentation will flow much better while still having the benefits of the social proof, etc., of testimonials in your presentation. And if you'd like to learn the 7 key elements to a high converting webinar, I've put together a PDF. You can click the link in the description below this video to claim that. It's going to break down not just testimonials and all the elements of your webinar, but everything you will need, a good checklist for making sure you get the right type of content for your next webinar, masterclass, or sales presentation. So check that out. That's it for this video. Feel free to subscribe and hit the bell if you'd like to receive more videos like this. Leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care for now.